MSW Media.
News with swearing. Daily beans, daily beans. Daily beans, daily beans.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Beans for Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. Today, Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes is threatening legal action against Mike Johnson for refusing to swear in Adelita Grijalva. Jack Smith speaks out about his investigations into Donald Trump with former Mueller prosecutor Andrew Weissmann. Stephen Miller has murdered another 5 people in the Caribbean in a boat strike. Major airports are refusing to play Kristi Noem's propaganda video, wrongly blaming Democrats for the shutdown. Maine Governor Janet Mills has entered the Senate race against Susan Collins. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals shoots down a Republican request for a rehearing of a Pennsylvania voter suppression case. The Supreme Court rejects Alex Jones's bid to appeal his $1.5 billion defamation loss to Sandy Hook families. Jim Jordan demands testimony from Jack Smith in front of the House Judiciary Committee. A federal judge rules Trump defied a court order over FEMA funding, and President Obama endorses yes on Prop 50 in California. I'm Allison Gill.
And I'm Dana Goldberg.
Well, it's the taint of the week, and the news is just not slowing down.
It sure is not, man. And well, it's not all awful, I guess. I mean, there's some, good news stories in there, what we call good news stories, with the courts actually doing the right things, like with Alex Jones and such. And I'm really interested about this Maine Governor Janet Mills entering the Senate race. Whoever can beat Susan Collins, I'm good with that. Obviously, I don't know if she could, we'll talk about it during the story, but I want to know, could she have run for another term and all of those other things? Because she has been a great governor for Maine.
Well, she's termed out, so she can't run again for governor.
There you go. That answered that question.
But I do have some issues. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we get to it. We'll cross that Janet Mills bridge when we come to it.
All right.
I do have one correction. I've been misspelling Letitia James's name, so I'm very sorry about that. It's Letitia. There's no C in Letitia James, so apologies for that. There's also a new episode of Cleanup on Aisle 45 out today with me and Harry Dunn. You want to check that out wherever you get your pods. And I just spent over an hour listening to Andrew Weissmann interview Jack Smith, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So tons going on. There's still quite a bit of the week left. So I don't know how it's going to go. But what we can tell you is what happened on Tuesday, and wish everyone a happy Wednesday. So since we have so much news, let's do some quick hits.
And to make a long story short, too late.
All right, everybody. As I said, Jack Smith spent at least an hour and 20 minutes speaking with former Mueller prosecutor Andrew Weissmann. And Andy McCabe and I are going to go over some of the details in the next Unjustified podcast. In a related story, Jim Jordan has written a letter to Jack Smith demanding he appear before the House Judiciary to answer some questions in a transcribed interview, is what he's calling it. So I don't know that this is public testimony. Probably not wise for Republicans to question Jack Smith in public. But he's accusing Jack Smith of lawfare over, why did you get those 8 senators' phone records and stuff like that. And he's also accusing him of planting evidence, and talks about how Jack Smith should not have executed a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. And I just want to remind everyone, Jack Smith was not appointed until months after Merrick Garland initiated the search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. In fact, he was at The Hague trying a case, which is where Jim Jordan should be. Although I know we're not signatories to the Rome statute, so nobody here can be prosecuted at The Hague, but, it would be nice. Anyway, the letter asks for a transcribed interview, like I said, so it doesn't sound like it's public, but we will keep you posted on that testimony.
All right. Thank you so much, Allison. Janet Mills, as I talked about just briefly in the intro, the 2-term Democratic governor of Maine, has announced on Tuesday that she was running for Senate, aiming to unseat Senator Susan Collins, who is widely seen as the country's most vulnerable Senate Republican incumbent on the ballot in 2026. Ms. Mills, who is term limited, has been heavily recruited for months by Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Democratic leader, who is eager to find a proven winner to take on Ms. Collins. Now, Ms. Collins happens to be 72, is a rare Republican to survive in recent years in a Democratic-leaning state, and is seeking her 6th term. Now, listen, I really seem to like the oyster guy. Is that what he is? He's a shucker.
Yeah, Graham Plattner.
He is really killing it there, and I believe is leading in the polls. And so I don't really understand this, or is it they just want? I don't understand it. So tell me what you think about this, because Schumer's backing Janet Mills to go over there. I like this younger breath of fresh air in Maine. So what do you think about this?
All right, here's my thoughts. First of all, what I think is kind of irrelevant. I'm not a Mainer. I'm not a Maina.
Fair.
So, but I have a favorite, and my favorite is Graham Plattner.
Mm-hmm.
He has said a lot of things that I like. And I like the way he says them, but that's just my personal preference. But here's where I have a problem. The DSCC has formed a committee, a fundraising committee with Janet Mills. And I think that puts the thumb on the scales.
Yeah.
I would like to see these primaries. I would like to see, I know the DNC is not getting involved in primaries, but I would like the DSSC and the DCCC to sit these primaries out and allow the voters to decide.
Yeah.
Unfettered, not put their thumb on the scale.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Because I think Maine, whether you prefer Governor Mills, who's excellent, or whether you prefer Graham Plattner, I think that Mainers should decide, and voters everywhere in any race should decide who their candidate is in the primaries, and then have everybody get behind that candidate in the general. That's just my 2 cents. And so I'm pretty upset that the DSCC is weighing in here and helping fundraise for one of the Democratic candidates. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, especially because this other one has had so much support behind him already. And I don't know. It just, like I said, like we said, we're not Mainers. If you are one listening and you want to write in and tell us what you think about the two candidates, we'd love to hear from you in the good news segment. You know that. So, that's open to you as well.
Yeah. And if you support Janet Mills, rad. If you support Graham Plattner, rad. And I think that the candidate that the most people would like to run in the general should be the one that runs in the general. That's
absolutely.
That's the way I feel.
And
about
I would
it.
be more than happy to see Susan Collins pack her bags finally.
Yes. Yeah. And I hope we don't have some long, protracted, ugly thing between Governor Mills and Graham Plattner.
Right.
Because what tends to end up happening is that the people who backed either one of those candidates don't want to vote for the other one if they win the primary.
I don't know Graham's character, but it seems from everything I've seen that he wouldn't be the kind of guy that would intentionally get dirty. He seems to be running a very joyful campaign. He doesn't really seem to like to be in the mudslinging. So I would hope that that's true, but we'll see what happens.
We will, because he's also very anti-establishment and would probably consider Governor Mills an establishment candidate, especially with being the recruitment by Chuck Schumer. And the chair of the DSCC is Kirsten Gillibrand. So, I've sent my thoughts in about them weighing in primary elections. I don't think that that's right. So we'll keep an eye on it for you, though. And I'm going to root for whoever the Democrat is from way over here,
Same.
I do have my favorite. I prefer Graham Plattner, but I haven't heard much from Janet Mills yet. I don't know. Maybe she'll overwhelm me, but I really like what Graham Plattner, particularly the part where Graham Plattner says, if I become a senator, I'm going to drag these ICE officials into hearings and unmask them and ask them questions.
Absolutely.
I think that's important. All right. Next up, the Third Circuit Court of Appeals has denied a push by the National Republican Party to consider a ruling on misstated ballots in Pennsylvania. Of course, Judge Emil Bovee cast his first vote in dissent of the decision. He wanted to grant a petition for a rehearing en banc. And he plans to write about it later. I'm sure it'll be a bunch of bullshit. We'll keep you posted.
Okay. And I hope if you're in California and you've gotten a ballot in your mail that you have voted early, and make sure you take that down. Put it in a voting box if you can. Just safely do that. And if not, maybe go in person if you can do that as well. And if not, then you risk the mail. But President Obama has come out and endorsed yes on Prop 50 in California. So let's quickly listen to that clip.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
But no, really, thanks.
Yeah, and just seriously, don't think that other people are going to take care of this. This is a really important vote. So don't just put the ballot aside. You get to decide what kind of power we have in the midterms with this. And again, there's a retaliatory decision because Texas decided to redraw without the voting voice of their constituents. And California's not doing that. We're following our Constitution and we're doing the thing right. So get out there and vote.
Yeah, consent of the voters. Very, very important. I think Obama brought that up too. In the clip we just listened to. Yeah, I'm with you. Fight fire with fire. Let's redraw those maps. I think it's going to make it more fair. So anyway, next up, Supreme Court on Tuesday rejected the appeal from conservative commentator and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who has been ordered to pay $1.4 billion in damages to the families of victims of the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. Now, Harry Dunn and I are going to talk about this next week on Cleanup on L45 with more details as they emerge. Because, this is still a pretty fresh story, and I'm sure there's going to be more to it. Like, is The Onion going to get InfoWars? I'm really excited to hear about that, and we'll talk about that next week.
All right. Thanks, Allison.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody, we've got more news to get to. We're going to take a quick break, though. Stick around. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, it's AG. As you know, I've had my Helix mattress forever, for years now, since Mueller, she wrote. And it's honestly one of the best long-term decisions I've ever made for my health, not just my sleep. I love sleep. It's my favorite, but it also impacts my whole day. I first heard about Helix from friends who couldn't stop talking about how much better they were sleeping. And I figured I'd give it a try. I was skeptical at first, but I felt the difference immediately. Before Helix, I dealt with back pain, tossing and turning, night sweats, waking up feeling like I hadn't slept at all, and that sucked. And my Apple Watch told the same story. Short bursts of light sleep, almost no deep sleep cycles, too many wake-ups. And within a week of switching to Helix, that data completely turned around. My deep sleep numbers jumped right to where they should be. I was sleeping through the night. My recovery scores were improving steadily. So it's wild to see the science of better rest show up right on my Apple Watch like that. It's pretty incredible and it's very satisfying. So as we move into the colder months, I've been spending more time indoors, and that makes my Helix even more of a sanctuary for me. The support has held up perfectly over the years. No sagging, no weird dips, just the same consistent comfort that helps me relax after long days. It keeps me cool when I need it and cozy when temperatures drop. Helix fixed every frustration I had with my old mattress and my sleep. So no more overheating, no more sore back, no more restless nights. It's one of the few products that actually lived up to all the hype. And after all this time, I still wake up impressed by how good I feel. So go to helixsleep.com/dailybeans for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/dailybeans for 20% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name at checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/dailybeans. You'll be glad you did. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's time for the Hot Notes. Hot Notes. All right, first up from Politico, Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes threatened legal action against House Speaker Mike Johnson on Tuesday for failing to seat Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. In a letter to Mike Johnson, Mayes accused the House GOP leader of violating the Constitution by unnecessarily delaying the Democrats' swearing-in ceremony. Quote, Arizona's right to a full delegation and the right of the residents of CD7 to representation from the person they recently voted for are not up for debate and may not be delayed or used as leverage in negotiations about unrelated legislation. That's what Mayes wrote in a letter. Grijalva won the special election in Arizona's deep blue 7th congressional district to replace her late father, Raul Grijalva, last month. Johnson has maintained Grijalva will be sworn in when the House is back in session. Now, at first, he said, I'll swear her in when the official election results come in. But on Tuesday, October 14th, Adrian Fontes certified the election. Said there's no more excuses. Then he said, I'll do it whenever. But then he walked that back. And now it's when the House gets back in session, once Congress reaches an agreement to reopen the government, despite at one point telling reporters that she would be sworn in as soon as she wants. So in this particular letter that Mayes wrote, she said that amounted to trying to use Arizona's constitutional right to representation in the House as a bargaining chip. And Democrats have accused Johnson and Republicans of stalling to prevent Grijalva from being the final signatory needed in an effort to force legislation related to releasing the Epstein files to the public, that discharge petition. Mayes says her office was keeping every option open to us, including litigation, to hold Johnson accountable and ensure Grijalva is sworn in promptly. Johnson's office didn't respond to requests for comment And I know everybody gets frustrated with, why are you threatening litigation? Why don't you just bring it? And I want to remind everybody that legally speaking, it's always better to write a letter and say, do this now, or we will bring litigation. It's kind of like a step in a due process chain, right? So, because if you just sue immediately, they can file to dismiss that suit because they weren't given proper notification.
Right.
So that it's part of the step. So I know it's frustrating, like stop threatening, stop considering, stop weighing, and just do it. But you do actually need to send, it's always wise to send these letters first so that you can turn around to the judge and say, look, we gave him every opportunity, Your Honor. So that's kind of why they do it this way.
Makes sense. This next one, AG, is from the Times. The United States, man, this guy. The United States killed 6 men aboard a boat in international waters just off the coast of Venezuela. President Trump wrote on social media on Tuesday, that's what he said, asserting without evidence that they had been transporting drugs. The strike was the 5th known attack by the U.S. military on such boats since September 2nd. The military has now killed 27 people, as if they were enemy soldiers in a war zone and not criminal suspects. Since Mr. Trump and his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, started the operation last month, the broad range of legal specialists have called the premeditated and summary extrajudicial killings illegal. They noted that the military cannot lawfully target civilians, even criminal suspects, by the way, who do not pose a threat in the moment and are not directly participating in hostilities, meaning they're not actively right now selling. I can't. The Trump administration has asserted that killing suspected drug smugglers, rather than having the Coast Guard interdict boats and arrest people aboard them, if suspicions of drug smuggling proved accurate, as countries like the United States traditionally deal with those problems, those are consistent with the laws of war. But the administration has not released any detailed legal analysis in support of that conclusion. Charles Young III, Mr. Trump's nominee to be General Counsel of the Army, said as his confirmation hearing last week that he had seen a memo by the Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel about the operation, but did not disclose its legal analysis or arguments. The administration's public explanations have nodded toward different legal concepts and terms without explaining why they apply to suspected drug smuggling. For example, Trump last month signed a letter to Congress informing lawmakers on September 2nd strike, which he said had killed 11 people aboard a boat as a, quote, matter of self-defense. After strike on September 15th killed 3 people. The administration sent a different kind of notice to Congress declaring that Trump had determined that the United States was now in a formal armed conflict with various Latin American cartels and gangs that his team had labeled terrorists. Suspected drug runners for them could be lawfully targeted as, and I quote, unlawful combatants. This is what the administration wrote.
Yeah, and by the way, they're saying that gang is Tren de Aragua,
right? Which
they've used as an excuse multiple times. We know they used it as an excuse to
incorrectly
send all those people unlawfully to Seacoast Prison in El Salvador. And I just found out that, you remember that horrific raid on the apartment building where they zip-tied children
in Chicago,
rappelled off of Black Hawk helicopters. And they said, well, it was supposedly a big hideout for Tren de Aragua. They said, okay, well, there were like 9. Okay, no, there's like 4. Okay, there were 2 suspected. It's down to 1 suspected member of Tren de Aragua in that building for that whole thing.
The administration, in continuing, has not explained how a boat in the middle of the Southern Caribbean Sea, far from U.S. coast, posed the kind of imminent threat of armed attack that could prompt a right to use force in self-defense. Nor has it explained how smuggling an illicit consumer product counted as the sort of hostilities that under international law shift to armed conflict rules from human rights ones. In peacetime, the authorities arrest criminal suspects and can use lethal force only in defense against an imminent threat. Well, in war, it is lawful to target enemy fighters based on their status, even if they pose no threat at the moment, but we're not in an actual war.
Mm-hmm. Well, he said it's an unarmed international conflict. And so he got that memo from Office of Legal Counsel and the DOJ, and he just put Michael Ellis in as the legal counsel at CIA so that probably he can whip up a legal memo saying the CIA can go in and do covert ops and kill people.
Yeah.
Without due process. It's murder. It's murder. Next up from Al Jazeera, a federal judge in the United States has ruled that the administration of President Donald Trump has violated a previous court order by implementing a nearly identical policy that again made state cooperation with federal immigration enforcement a condition for receiving grants from FEMA. On Tuesday, District Judge William Smith in Providence, Rhode Island, wrote that the Department of Homeland Security had done precisely what his September 24th ruling forbid them to do when it imposed a new immigration-related condition that states must accept before they may obtain emergency preparedness grants from FEMA. In his earlier ruling, the one that he's mad now that Trump defied, the judge struck down conditions the department originally imposed on grant awards. At the time, 20 Democratic-led states and D.C. had argued the restrictions were designed to coerce them into adhering to the Republican president's hardline immigration crackdown. After Judge Smith's initial ruling, the administration issued a new grant award document to the states with nearly identical immigration enforcement conditions, but with a clause saying, but only if Judge Smith is overturned.
Yep.
That's seriously what it says.
Oh my God.
You know what this reminds me of? We are the duly elected electors, presidential electors for the state of Arizona or the state of Pennsylvania, but only if it's found that that there was election fraud and Donald Trump won the election. Like, that's what that reminds me of. Smith said the fig leaf conditional nature of the requirement makes little difference, as the administration was again unlawfully forcing states to agree to assist in federal immigration enforcement or else forego millions of dollars in funding. Quote, defendant's new condition is not a good faith effort to comply with the order. It's a ham-handed attempt to bully the states into making promises they have no obligation to make at the risk of losing critical disaster and other funding already appropriated by Congress. That's what Judge Smith said. The judge, an appointee of former Republican President G.W. Bush, blocked the new conditions from being enforced and required the administration to amend the grant award documents by next week. They're getting really fucking tired.
Yes, sir. Sounds
this
like it.
Department of Justice playing word games. Like when Judge Immergut said, okay, no, you can't deploy the Oregon National Guard. And they were like, California then, Texas, go. Judge Immergut was like, everybody fucking back in the courtroom. Sunday night, midnight, I don't fucking care. Get back in the courtroom. What are you doing? Are you seriously telling me you're going to deploy? Did you think I just meant the Oregon National Guard because they're different?
Yep.
She was so pissed. And this judge is also. Department of Homeland Security did not respond to requests for comment, which is weird because normally Tricia McLaughlin won't shut the fuck up. The administration had argued it complied with your earlier decision, Your Honor. We were merely seeking to preserve our ability to enforce the immigration-related conditions just in case you're overturned. Now, this case is one of a number of lawsuits that Democratic state attorneys general have filed in Rhode Island and in other states in New England, which have become top destinations for litigants seeking rulings blocking Trump's agenda. So that's all from Al Jazeera News. Great news source, by the way, if you're interested.
Absolutely. Thanks, Allison. This one's from CBS. Not always the best, but not always the worst. Multiple airports across the country are denying a request from the Department of Homeland Security to play a video that blames Democrats for the ongoing government shutdown. I love this. Now, the shutdown began on October 1st with Democrats and Republicans in a stalemate over how to reopen the government. Democrats have demanded an extension of expiring health insurance tax credits, but Republican leaders have refused to negotiate, saying that they want the government to reopen first. Transportation Security Administration officers and air traffic controllers, those are essential federal workers, requiring them to work during a shutdown without getting paid, not immediate pay and threat of never getting paid by this administration. But an uptick of workers calling out sick, that's led to staffing shortages, resulting in some flight delays and cancellations. In the DHS video, Secretary Kristi Noem tells travelers, and I quote, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted and most of our TSA employees are working without pay. We'll continue to do all that we can to avoid delays that will impact our travel, and our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government. And I say full-throatedly,
so
go fuck yourself.
She likes the government now and wants it open. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. The video began airing at airports on Thursday. And this is from a DHS spokesperson. But multiple airports said that they're not going to play it because the partisan message goes against their policies as well as state or federal regulations. And this is a quote. We did not consent to playing the video in its current form as we believe the Hatch Act clearly prohibits use of public assets for political purposes and messaging. This is Molly Prescott. She is the spokesperson for the Port of Portland, which oversees Portland International Airport. So go fuck with Portland, and the airport's going to go tell you to go fuck yourself. She said, additionally, Oregon law states no public employee can promote or oppose any political committee, party, or affiliation. We believe consenting to playing this video on port assets would violate Oregon law. The Hatch Act, by the way, which was passed in 1939 and has been violated multiple times by this administration, but there's never been consequences, aims in part to ensure federal programs are nonpartisan. Similarly, a Port of Seattle spokesperson said the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport will not play the video, which is why I didn't see it when I was flying out of Seattle the other day.
You're like,
and
where
they
is it?
said it was due to political nature of the content. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey also said the video is not playing at its airports, including JFK, LaGuardia, or Newark. Those are three of the biggest airports in the country. Now, I realize there are more, so please don't send in a correction. It's just three of the biggest. Other airports that are not playing the video include Phoenix Sky Harbor International in Arizona, Charles Douglas in North Carolina, Buffalo Niagara in Westchester County Airport in New York. O'Hare's not playing it. Midway's not playing it, which doesn't surprise me. Massachusetts Port Authority, which manages Boston's airport, said the video is not being played, and there's no video screens at its TSA checkpoints. The major airports across this country, and not just blue states, because I'm, as you know, Arizona is a blue state. It's a little purple. It's purple. It's a purple.
It's purple. It's actually kind of, it's weird. They're very libertarian over there.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, this makes me really happy that people are pushing back. And I'm telling you, dissent. The more people that push back against this stuff do not comply. What is it? Do not obey in advance. And they're not. They're like, no, sorry.
Yep. And that brings me to your good trouble.
What are you guys doing?
I got two good troubles for you. Goods trouble, good troubles. I don't know the plural of good trouble for you today. I have two of them. The first one is to call your airport and make sure they're not playing that stupid video. And the second is to give Mike Johnson a call. Let him know Adrian Fontes certified the election that Adelita Grijalva won and that he is now required under the Constitution to swear her in. Okay? That's your good trouble. Everybody stick around. We'll be right back with the good news. Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the good news.
Who likes good news, everyone? Then good news, everyone.
Good news. And if you have any good news, confessions, corrections, you want to tell me how to spell Letitia James's name correctly, please send that in. If you have any little bit of good news that happened a minute ago or 10 years ago, we want to hear about it. If you have a street joke you want to send us, give us a chuckle. We would love to hear that as well. Or maybe your favorite comedian, your favorite joke from your favorite comedian, or just who your favorite comedian is, besides Dana Goldberg, obviously.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Everybody's favorite comedian is Dana Goldberg.
I don't want to hear that.
It's just not. We'll just kind of go around that obvious thing first. And then, of course, if you have a shout out to a loved one or maybe a small business in your area, a nonprofit that's doing some great work, self shout outs. We absolutely love self shout outs. Any shout outs to government programs that have helped you or a loved one. And all you got to do to get your stuff read on the air is pay your pod pet tariff, which really just means attach a photo of anything. Seriously, anything. But it can be your pet. It can be an adoptable pet in your area. It can be a random animal off the internet. You can do a bird watching photo, which can be an actual bird. I know we got a lot of birders here that listen to the beans. Or you flipping the bird to a Trump building. I love those. Those are the best. Maybe you've got a photo of a great overpass, sign. That
just a great overpass, anyone.
Just a great overpass.
I mean, if there's an overpass on the freeways in your house and you're like, that's a great overpass.
Man, the bridge at 163 at Balboa is gorgeous. If you just want,
I have seen some good overpasses.
If you want to send that in, it's totally fine. Whatever it is, your garden, what you're making, what you're creating. Are you quilting, sewing? What's your Halloween costume going to be?
Oh, there you go.
Would love to hear about that. I know we've probably got a lot of inflatable frogs coming. So if you're having an inflatable frog orgy, that is an inside joke from this show. So if you're new, I apologize.
It is indeed.
Please send that in. But really, any photo will do. And you can send it all to us, dailybeanspod.com, and click on contact. And my little bit of good news is gratitude. I want to thank everyone for watching The Breakdown, which is my video podcast over on the Midas Touch Network.
Yes.
Dana, this last episode has almost 1 million views.
I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
And I'm like so overwhelmed. I'm like, what? That is nuts. Who is watching this? What is even happening? So I appreciate everybody watching it. I think it was because I put that "Stop Breaking the Law, Asshole" clip from Liar Liar in there.
I love it.
I have 5 words for Republican senators, and I played that clip. That might be why, because that's such a good clip, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the special sauce is, but I love that you love it. And if you haven't seen it, we have a link in the show notes for you. So that's it. Just gratitude. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for you guys watching that. Thank you so much. All right. You want to, I did that little first one. You want to take the next one?
Sure. Absolutely. This is from Kate from Portland, pronounced she and her. Hello, leguminaries. Just wanted to send a quick clarification regarding Portland's naked ride versus critical mass. Critical mass rides are generally a form of direct action that involves large groups of people gathering at a set location and time to ride their bikes together in mass, as there is safety in numbers. Critical mass is said to have originated in San Francisco in 1992, and now events happen globally for a lot of reasons, such as celebratory way to get the attention of city councils and planners and highlight the need for safe cycling infrastructure. The World Naked Bike Ride, which takes place in Portland, on the other hand, happens once a year and is, quote, part protest, part celebration, calling attention to oil dependency, cyclist vulnerability, and the beauty of body freedom. And there's a link so you can check this out if you want to. The event that happened over the last weekend was an emergency naked bike ride. That's what I thought. And was in response to Trump's National Guard deployment and the perpetuation of violence by the federal agents against protesters.
I love it.
Thank you both for all you do. I know it's been said by others 1,000,000 times, but consider this 1,000,001. I don't know how I would have gotten through these 10 months without your reporting and the community you've helped build.
Aww.
As a thank you, and since we're recently introduced to the, what's it called? Nudie Branch.
Oh, Nudie Branch.
Nudie Branch. That's right, because there's other letters in that word. Nudie Branch. I'd like to introduce you to leaf sheep. Wait, hold on. Leaf sheep.
What?
Yes, they are real. And yes, they are my favorite underwater babies. Stop it. These are real?
Oh, look.
Oh, my love. Okay. Leaf
Look.
sheep are
It's a
literally,
leaf sheep.
if someone said, imagine an underwater animal that is part leaf and part sheep, this is exactly what I would have pictured.
This is exactly it. It's perfect. Okay, now I love leaf sheep.
Yeah, me
and
too.
nudie branches
Yep.
and tardigrades. I've always loved tardigrades. Not always, since I found out what they were. I wasn't like born loving tardigrades. That would be weird because then it would be, never mind. All right. Thank you so very much, Kate from Portland. And congrats on your airport and congrats on your city. And I mean, y'all are just doing the amazing work over there. Seriously. Next up from Julie M. My husband and I have been volunteer puppy raisers for a wonderful organization called Dogs for Better Lives. They are a nonprofit who supplies fully trained dogs for individuals with hearing needs or children on the autism spectrum. Puppy raisers start training and caring for the puppy from 8 weeks until they're 14 to 18 months old. At that time, we return them to the organization for their specific high-level training and then match them with a recipient. This is all done at no cost to the recipient. To date, we've raised 8 puppies. Our most recent dog, Percy, was just matched last month to a wonderful family in Southern California. We met the family and were able to hear firsthand what a great impact Percy is already making with their son. It is by far the most rewarding work we've ever experienced. So, shout out to Dogs for Better Lives. And we're looking forward to raising our next puppy. What a cool job.
Yeah,
what a cool thing to do for people. Pet Tax, of course, is Percy the service dog when he was 8 weeks old. Oh,
look at this face.
Oh my goodness. That just melts my heart. And you know, I'm a cat person, but you know, I also love puppies.
I know you do.
Dogs.
I know you do. All right. This is from Dawn, pronouns she and her. Hey, Beans Queens. Huge shout out to you both for everything you do to bring us news while mainstream media drops the ball. I wasn't a listener from the very start, but I was so happy to find you back in the kitchen table days. And I've been a devoted member of the Leguminati ever since.
That's pretty close to the very start.
I know, it pretty is, right?
close.
I know. First, I have to express my serious dismay at the firing of most of the employees in the Office of Special Education Programs, OSCP. As a parent of a child with Down syndrome, it's hard not to feel anxious about what this means for families, schools, and kids who depend on those programs. I'm calling the Beans community to step up and advocate for these families. Our kids deserve better than uncertainty about their rights. You all ready for some good trouble? The National Down Syndrome Society has posted 4 easy action steps, including phone and email scripts to contact your representatives on their Facebook page. There's a short link to this post, okay? We're going to have it in the show notes. Please reach out and demand that these firings be reversed. If you need a little extra motivation, I've attached a picture of my son, Levi. He was featured on a Times Square billboard during the NDSS Buddy Walk on September 6th.
Oh, Dawn, that's amazing.
Now for some happier news. I recently traveled to AG's neck of the woods to get a Star Wars tattoo that I've been dreaming about. Princess Leia is the ultimate rebel princess, and I couldn't think of a more fitting symbol of these times. Over the moon at how it turned out. And by the way, I've scrolled down to see the picture. It's fucking incredible. And there was a picture attached. And AG, I nearly died when I saw your photo with Mark Hamill. If there's any chance you can get this tattoo in front of him, I might just combust. Finally, for my pop pet tax, I've included pictures of my pups, Jedi, because of course, and Sunny, who would probably be named Leia if my daughter hadn't claimed name rights. Jedi's an Alaskan Klekai, and Sunny's a rescue. Still waiting on her DNA test, but she's got black spots on her tongue, so that means part chow, right? It sure does.
Yeah.
Thanks for all that you do to keep us informed, laughing, and fired up. You make the world a little brighter every day. Look at this incredible fucking tattoo, Allison.
Okay, so I have a couple questions, Dawn. This is, first of all, incredible. I want to know who the artist is.
Yep.
And I want to know your Blue Sky handle so that I can tag you and Mark Hamill and post this photo.
Very sweet, Allison.
So send it to me at hello@MuellerSheWrote.com. Resend me a photo of the tattoo, name of the artist, and your Blue Sky handle. And if you don't have a Blue Sky, time to sign up. So
Yes,
we can
absolutely.
get Mark Hamill in it. And then you can follow DG Comedy.
And look at Levi.
Oh my gosh.
Look at Levi. In Times Square.
Oh my God.
That's so cool. He must have been floating on cloud 9.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's incredible. And look at these doggos. And look at that beautiful yard.
I know. That looks like a gorgeous, happy place.
Like, I want to just chill with like hot cocoa. Like, it's all blustery and rainy and windy today. And so it's like it feels like fall is here right now. And so I'm all like, hot cocoa, soups. I need some sort of a cream-based soup in a bread bowl, please. And this is just fantastic. That tattoo is incredible. All right. So you got that, Dawn? I would love an email, hello@MuellerSheWrote.com. Re-include the photo. Tell me your Blue Sky handle. I'd love to know the artist as well, because that's just incredible work. All right. Next up from Trisha, pronouns she and her. A little bit of good news and a little bit of good trouble. After having their state funding cut just a week before the Women's Veterans Conference in Michigan, my cousin Teresa, a Navy vet, went on Facebook for her first live stream. While the news was sad and frustrating, she refused to be silent. She used her voice and brought awareness to an issue she cares deeply about. Tuesday, the 14th, I was able to be with her and her fellow veterans at Michigan State Capitol for a rally. She and other veterans shared their stories, their strength, and courage. Even though the conference is canceled, they will not give up. Any women veterans in Michigan available on October 18th can attend 2 events called Women's Veterans Unite at Parkside Farm in Byron Center, Michigan from 11 to 2, and American Legion Roger B. Chafee Post 154 from 3 to 8 p.m. Please contact Michigan State representatives and senators to tell them how important veterans are in Michigan and their funding should not be cut. A pod tax picture for you is of Teresa and her fellow vet on the steps of the Capitol, also including a picture of my daughter feeding the birds. Just the look on her face was hilarious. Okay, first of all, incredible picture at the Capitol. That is super inspiring. And then
Yes,
look,
it
feeding
is.
the birds. Look at the look on her face.
Oh my God.
Put a bird on it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Trisha.
This is fantastic. All right, we've got a little blue dot in rural Georgia. No pronouns given. Hey, Queens of the Beans. Last weekend we traveled to KP Friends Cafe in Helen, Georgia. Oh my God.
Oh.
Might be Helene, Georgia. And
it
just
might be
had
Cappy
to,
friends.
had to share. It was fall break and my kiddos love Cappies. So what do you do for a trip? That was easy decision. Living in the middle, very red Georgia is lonely and scary, but you share the news and you keep me sane during the commute to work. I drive alone, so I laugh, I cry, fucking swear right along with you. I adore you both, and I hope you know how much you're valued and appreciated today and every day. My God, the Cappy Friends Cafe sells shirts, of course, and the slogan on the shirt is super catchy, and that's how I'm signing off today. Don't worry, be Cappy.
Oh,
These capybaras are really very cute.
can I go pet capybaras in the middle of Georgia?
I don't see
Because
why not.
I will. I will. I absolutely will. You know I will.
You should.
I'll travel for a capybara. I know there's some in will travel for capybaras is my
There you
new
go.
shirt. What an outstanding set of good news. I'm really, really excited about leaf sheep now. I want to go do more research.
Oh my God, I know.
And this Princess Leia tattoo is phenomenal. And everybody, your good news, just well done. Chef's kiss today. Please, everyone, send your good news in to dailybeanspod.com and click on contact. And if you're able, if you have the means and you want to support us, everything's always free. We don't have paywalls, but if you can, swing a few bucks. You can do that by going to patreon.com/thedailybeans. We would love that very much if you could do that. So that's it. That's the show for today. We'll see what the rest of the week brings, but whatever it brings, we do have each other, and that's really important to me. So any final thoughts, my friend?
No, I think you covered it.
All right. We'll be back in your ears tomorrow. Until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of your family, take care of the planet, and take care of your mental health. Did I get it all?
Yep.
I got them
Any
in
order
reverse,
is going
but
to be just as powerful.
I think I got them all. Anyway, thank you so much. I've been AG.
I've been DG.
And them's the beans. The Daily Beans is written and executive produced by Allison Gill with additional research and reporting by Dana Goldberg. Sound design and editing is by Desiree McFarlane, with art and web design by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. Music for The Daily Beans is written and performed by They Might Be Giants, and the show is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, please visit mswmedia.com. MSW Media.